my package, which I've been told you about, the TTRPG of Monty Python's co-curricular medieval reenactment program. It's an RPG. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. Stop it. Stop being silly. So here it includes the die that I put in here. So this is the mental health die, the physical health die. So they say that when you get life points, they just say, oh, you're getting a bit of debt. So you start at Mr. Neutron, or you get a little bit of debt, you follow the arrow, you're fine. And then you get another bit of debt, then you're getting better. A little bit of debt. No, I'm not dead yet. He's getting better. I'm fine. And then after that, he's virtually dead. And if you get another bit of debt, you are no more with a dead parrot. And this is the same thing with the mental health. You start at original molding. Then you're sensible. Then you're daft. Then you're barmy. You're crackers. And after that, you are coconuts. When you're coconuts, you are irredeemably insane. So here we have the dice. We have the die of Beshrewdment, a D30 die. We have your typical D6, D8, D12, D20. This is a D14. Oh no, it's a 16. No, this is a D18. So that's the D18. That's the T14. I got demerit points. The D4, D10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and 30. So as you can see, it's like a pool game, you know? When you're on the low, this is considered as the neutral. So those are the silly die. This is the neutral die. This is the serious die. This is the Beshrewdment die. So as you can see, at the edges, like they're different colors. Like the D4 is pink with red numbers, while the D20 is red with pink numbers. The D6 is lilac with purple numbers, while the D18 is purple with lilac numbers. We have the D8, who light blue with dark blue numbers, and the D16 is dark blue with light blue numbers. We have apple green with forest green numbers. Here we have forest green die with apple green numbers, and we have the brown and yellow, brown die with yellow numbers, and the somewhat beige die with brown numbers. We have merit points and demerit points, since the game is based on merit and demerits. So basically what they do is, if you get a merit, it means that you have pleased the DM, which is the head of light entertainment, also known as the whole, as it's written on the satchel right here. So I have a satchel, the head of light entertainment, or whole for short, with the BBC logo back then, which is basically the UK, and the rest doesn't really matter. So the merit points, basically, they're here to cancel demerit points. So merit and demerit cancel each other out, and you can have as many merit points as you want, since you could use them to play your die with advantage. So basically, you can spend as many tokens as you want, as many merit tokens as you want, depending on how much you want this die to be successful. So you're about to throw a die. You now have to choose how many tokens you want to put. Each token represents an extra die. If you can choose to spend 1 or 2 or 3, 4. There's no limit on how much you want to spend, but each token represents an extra die. And you play with advantage. So usually an advantage is between 2 die. You pick the best value of the 2. But if you choose 1 token, it means 1 extra die. A second token, another extra die, so you're going to choose the best value out of 3. Another token, best value out of 4 dice, and etc. Demerits. You cannot have more than 3 demerits, because every time you have a third demerits, you have to give them back, and you have to play the die of Beshrewdment. And if with any bad luck you land on the 1, which is represented by a foot, where is it? Right here. If you land on the foot, you're no more. Instant death. The feet of God just squash you and you are no more. So every time you have 3 demerit, you have 1 chance out of 30 of dying, which is more than 1%. It's like 3% chance of dying. To put you in perspective, you have more odds dying from COVID than dying from this. But anyway, I like the quality of the die. Like, it's the minimal I would expect. Some people will probably have a bigger plastic, but those are the guys who would gladly pay $20 for 1 die. And here it's $20 for 10. The coconut is, the plastic is similar. It reminds me of, when you play board games for kids, mouse traps and such, the plastic is similar. I think they went for something that make the coconut sound more like a coconut. You can use it to basically mimic the horseback, just like in Holy Grail. But basically, it's supposed to be a recipient to when you receive the die. However, as you can see, the base is not flat because it looks exactly like a coconut. I would expect them to maybe file in the mold, maybe make it a bit flat, so it would at least stand like a real bowl. I got a little dice catapult that I have to assemble myself. There were just pieces, and there were no assembly, like there were no plan. I decided to put the elastic what I thought it would be, and it works quite well, probably too well. You don't have to load the catapult really far, because I can throw this can throw a die with a full yard. The D4 goes very far. The D30 is bigger, but still, with my table, it can go over the table once it lands on rolling. And we have the book. So I bought the public school edition, which is with faux leather, so it has a feeling of, a school book from a very rich institution. So it says in the back, so there's the crest of the rabbit of Kerbanog. So it says, no upper class person were harmed, irritated, inconvenienced, or slightly put out during the making of this book per British Society for the Prevention of Bothering Important Person Regulation 462-B. The dot B. Several faux cows were shot and skinned for the cover, but they had it coming. So yeah, it's not real leather, it's faux leather. So faux leather comes from faux cows. And the content is what you would expect from the regular book. So I have the PDF of the book. Now I'm happy to see that there is the a physical version of that, but I still waited 2 years and almost a half, 2 years and 5 months to get my hands on this baby. Because when the Backstarter started, the book wasn't even printed, because they had no idea like how many pledgers they're gonna be. So it was I don't consider it being an oversight, but still. And then we have the screen panel for the Head of Light Entertainment. So basically it's the DM panel. Goes like this. And here we have 18 heads, because every time you start a game, you have to pick your whole, your persona. And it fits neatly with a little magnet. So here we have basically to answer me this questions: can you play as the Spanish Inquisition? Only if you're the DM, and you have one chance out of 18 to play the DM. So basically, when you start the game, you roll a d18. And it's gonna be one of these 18 characters. So there's the Cardinal. There's Jimmy Buzzard, basically one of those sports guys that retired, are good for one thing back in their career, and they want to plug their business more than talking about sports because they're too dumb. I believe this guy is, yeah, this is an upper class person. She's a comedian. She likes first degree humor, pratfall, comedy, and stuff like that. There's another upper class person who just love naughty jokes, and you have the opposite of that, like an MP who will fight for morality and stuff like that, and you have this guy, meh. The wonderful Timmy Williams. Ralph the Wonder Llama. Whatever her face is. We have the Good Fairy from Program Control. Like, he's called a fairy because he's into musicals. We have Professor Nigel Hamster Planet. He's the guy, he's all into authenticity in a medieval program. So this guy is gonna complain or argue about anachronism and stuff like that. There's plenty in the game, and I'm gonna put more. Another MP, another Snoopy guy, Dino Vercotti from East Brooklyn, a penguin, a random Scottish guy, and the upper class twit. So each head goes into this here, this. And here we have, this is a complaint counter. So they start at 0. And every time there's going to be like we receive a letter of complaint, it's going to go by 1, then 2, 3, goes all the way up to 5. But just because it goes up to 5 doesn't mean that you need 5 letters of complaint to get rid of this guy. Each person have their own number before they're going to get sacked. And I think the biggest one is 4. But I guess if they wanted to make a proper wheel, they have to go with 5. So we're gonna switch the board. So here we have the medieval period, Albatross, a culinary celebration, a proud state exam. So an exam about Prost. Prost in his first book wrote about Prost in his first book wrote about. But basically, it's a song about how much you waste time, because Prost's first book was À la recherche du temps perdu, which is looking for lost time. The medieval colon and the Ewan McTeagle collection. So the collection of poems from Ewan McTeagle, they're all about if you could lend me money until Tuesday, I will gladly appreciate it. Stuff, blah 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 blah. That guy's always broke. And as you can see on the back, you have naked policemen. So from my side, so this is the book of contents. Basically, like I'm gonna roll. If I need to, when I start a game, I roll which persona starts first. And this arrow points what is shown on the screen on their side. So I go to 0, 0. Okay. So it turns around. So yeah, it's a naked policeman. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Setting target number. Oh! I didn't pay attention to this. So this is a little legend to see a target range number. So 2 is a cedar, like eating a pie. So if I need to choose my difficulty setting, basically 3 to 4 is something easy, like hopping across a small brook. 5 to 7 is average, hopping from stone to stone across a wild, swift stream. 8 to 12 is challenging, climbing a tower with a grappling hook and a rope. 13 to 19 is heroic, delivering an oration that moves a great number of people into action, reflection, or meaningful change. 20 to 29, it's gonna happen. But if you want to play silly, like usually you can spam on the d20, so you can have another roll. So basically, every time you roll a crit, you roll the superior number and add it to your roll. And it keeps stacking up, because if you on the d20, okay, it's always going to be 20 plus 20 plus 20. But it takes mad luck. But the rules of the game is every time you roll above 20, you get a point of demerit for being too serious. So 20 to 29 is superhuman feat, like praying successfully for change in the weather, legendary, facing down a rampaging dragon and making a pet of it, and godlike is stopping time through sheer force of will. So here we have a reminder of the core mechanics. So for people who forget about their turn. So basically, like participants, you choose an action. You have to specify your intent. Like the whole and the participant determine which of the PC trait is being called upon. Because if you rolled your attention, I know better what die I'm gonna roll. And then they're gonna give me the number, and I'm gonna tell them if it's a success or a failure, if it's enough, equal. And there's also, the charter for all the die, like pink, like as you can see, it's the same number as the die. And there's also alternate programming. And there's also a switch here to turn it on. Goes on air. There's a little magnet here that keeps it here. Because the reason why it was so late is because some people put the magnet backwards. So the on-air switch wouldn't go fully up, you know? It needs to stay up. There's another switch here. It's to summon God. So if there's going to be an appearance of God, so if God is here, he's going to talk. Otherwise, he's gone. So that is for the panel. Some questions frequently asked is, do I need to know Monty Pythons to play this game? The answer is no. It makes for, oh, I know that reference. But if you don't know that reference, that's totally fine. It's silly as it is. Even if you don't understand the reference, if you're not a buff of Monty Python, that's fine as well. This game reproduces the experience of a Monty Python show, a flying circus episode. And I would say, with some mental games that I made with myself, and the quest I've seen how it goes, I would have to agree. It is true. And another person, do you have to know about D&D? Do D&D fans will enjoy their game? The answer is yes. But since there's a new dice system they need to learn, they're going to have to adapt. So it's going to take the same time for them as a newbie. But all in all, I think it's going to be easier than to learn this than learning to jump into a D&D game. So personally, I think this game is a good gateway to D&D. So if there are newbies who very young kids who wants to play this game, they could. It's going to be less complicated, more friendly. So you just have to do this, and that, and then you do whatever you want. And we're going to try to make it work, per se. So, that is it. Do I think it's worth the wait of what I paid for, since this whole ensemble, like the book, the die, the catapult, the panel, the satchel, and what else? The coconut, the dice catapult. The dice catapults come separately. But I paid like 140. Like, you could have, the good old regular book. I wanted to see, have something snooty. I didn't know it would be that kind of leather. Like, I was expecting something leathery. I didn't expect faux leather to be so plasticky or something like that. Is it worth the wait? I don't know. It's worth the fun. I will highly recommend this game. Like, I'm probably gonna make game myself just to get into a dip for people who are not sure if they want to play or not. There's room for making custom games, custom quests. I put some custom element myself in that game, since it's gonna be like a mix of Monty Python and Camelot. Camelot with a K and two A and two T's. Those in French knows what Camelot is.